Clinging to the southern tip of Spain, the town of Tarifa has seen waves of invasions for centuries. By the Moors from Africa and the Christians who expelled them. The walls of the castle witnessed to many bloody battles for control. But they're no barrier against the modern invaders from the south. This was supposed to be the good life in Spain. Work, money, cars. Instead, they live like dogs and are treated no better. Many would leave if only they could.
Muy mala. Muy mala.
¿Por qué?
Porque ahora no hay trabajo y ya sabes, ni que buscar la vida y trabajo no hay. No hay nada que hacer.
Problema de papeles. Problema de papeles. Que tu papeles, trabajo. Que tu papeles.
Up until recently, Tarifa was a place famous for two reasons, both blown in with the wind like the Immigrants. The gigantic blades that harvested for electricity and the world-class windsurfing that harvests tourists. But increasingly it's also becoming notorious for something you won't find in the tourist brochures. The bodies that regularly wash up on its beaches, the bloated refuse of a trade in desperation. Officially, a corpse is recovered here every week. Boats swamped by waves or run down by ships. But the strong currents wash most out into the Atlantic, hundreds a year by some estimates, all dying to get to Europe.
No tenemos un número estimado de personas que hubieran podido fallecer en temas relacionados con la inmigración, ya que Salvamento Marítimo únicamente interviene en aquellos casos en que tiene conocimiento de un accidente. En muchos casos, al estas embarcaciones no tener medios de comunicación, no hemos tenido conocimiento de que han transitado por el estrecho.
Last port, Mohammedia, destination the Algeciras.
Well understood, Max Tanker. Many thanks, sir, for your cooperation.
The narrow Straits of Gibraltar between Spain and Morocco are amongst the busiest shipping lanes in the world. Drug and cigarette smugglers have long plied these waters. But a few years ago, the mafia gangs operating in both countries discovered a more valuable commodity. Packed into boats designed for 6 or 8 people, up to 60 hopefuls pay up to $5,000 each for the dash to Tarifa. Not everyone gets through. Spanish Guardia Civil and Navy boats do pick up some on the water, but it's a net full of holes.
Aproximadamente lograrlo lo logran casi el 100% de los que intentan cruzar el estrecho, logran llegar a las costas de Tarifa. Lo que sí también le digo que casi el 95% son interceptados por la Guardia Civil.
It's an arrest rate most regard as highly optimistic, but this morning at least, police think they've got everyone. One man tells me it's his first attempt, but for some it's their fourth. Another shows the burns he suffered when the boat's petrol mixes with seawater. It's so common, no one takes much interest. Passing Spanish fishermen yell obscenities. All will be extradited home to Morocco tomorrow, but many will be back, just as soon as they can pay the gangs for another crack at Fortress Europe.
Hola, buenas tardes. Le informo que salimos a dar una vuelta por Playa de los Lances.
Often the first contact is with Red Cross workers like Carlos Jimenez.
Mira, otro punto de desembarco es esta playa y el motivo es que allí al fondo puedes observar una estación de gasolina, de petróleo. Entonces de noche, con la iluminación de la estación de servicio, es una referencia clara y visible desde el mar.
The Red Cross patrols up and down the Tarifa beach reveal a stark contrast. Here, Western affluence at its peak, a place people pay to come to stop working. Yet it's also the prime destination for the Africans who pay for the chance just to work. The daily cycle of rescuing illegals from leaky boats and recovering bodies has become depressingly routine. The survivors burdened by unrealistic hopes.
Así, Europa, pero se creen que ya esto es la panacea, que aquí ya encuentran trabajo rápido, que todo esto es muy bonito y que, pero no es así, no es así. Se tienen que buscar lo que se dice, buscar la vida.
Ask him about the people behind the trade, the mafia, and Carlos goes quiet. Like many here, he's afraid to talk about these people and their profits. The war against the mafia and their human cargoes appears to be one-sided.
¿Qué hacen aquí? ¿Lo entiende usted? ¿Qué está haciendo usted aquí? ¿Eso qué es lo que es? Comida, ¿no? Comida. ¿De dónde viene? ¿De dónde viene?
Ha buscado trabajo.
¿De dónde?
The Guardia Civil Patrol has no doubt these two Moroccans are part of the mafia, waiting behind the Tarifa beach to pick up illegals and take them north.
Tiene pasaporte marroquí, ¿no?
But while they offer no explanation as to why they're there, they do have papers. The search in the nearby scrub reveals nothing. So frustratingly, the police must let them go.
¿Pensaríais que son parte de la mafia estos también?
Claro.
Sí.
The rugged terrain behind the beaches provides the perfect cover for the boat people, who remain hidden until it's safe to make contact with the gangs. There's no doubt the Guardia Civil patrols take their job seriously, but they're spread thinly in such difficult country, it's a wonder they catch anyone. They show me the cliff immigrants have died trying to scale at night.
Todo. That is bad. Yeah. You can see clothes down there.
In the dark, many simply don't see the easier way, past the wreckage of earlier landings. The evidence strewn along the rock ledge here is proof this is Grand Central for illegal arrivals.
Así y clothes.
And clothes, pero seca. Ropa seca para cambiarse. Para cruzar se moja y eso, y para no seguir mojado, traen ropa seca también.
Despite the evidence of repeated landings, if there is a serious attempt to stop them on the beaches, it's certainly not obvious. It's not hard to find them, it's just a matter of waiting for light winds and calmer seas. From deserted beaches in Morocco, at least 3 boats set out overnight. In the early light, they're difficult to spot, but a surveillance helicopter has found its mark. Word is spreading, they're on their way, but so far no police. Further down the beach, the Red Cross is racing into position. Just short of safety, the engine has failed. The waves are starting to swamp the inflatable. Petrol is mixing with seawater, burning skin like acid. Most here can't swim. They're afraid to leave the boat. We will discover later a tragedy is unfolding here, but no one notices. They've paid dearly for this chance, and they're not stopping for anyone. The man driving the boat is nabbed first by an undercover policeman who shouts he doesn't want his face shown. For those left behind too sick to run with the pack, their dreams have ended here. A poor family's life savings may have been lost paying for this single crossing. For this man, the lasting legacy will be the scars from the petrol burns from the swamp fuel tanks.
No.
As they're loaded into the truck, they're leaving one behind. No one checks the boat until it's too late. Inside, they find a man barely alive, with terrible petrol burns, who's been trampled in the rush to the beach. Moments later, he dies. The 27th victim on these beaches this year, and the crossing season just begun. It's been a busy day. Another 2 boatloads caught further down the beach. 167 people held.
I love this place. I want to live in this place. That's why I come here. So our place here is a war in our place. Not like our place. We are suffering in the area. So I want to live in Spain. That's why I come to Spain.
How I found myself here, I couldn't define it.
So it's a mystery.
Yeah.
The black Africans don't run. They barely need guarding. Unlike the Moroccans, there's no extradition treaty, with the exception of Nigeria. So once they land, they're practically home. Though these people who say they're from Sierra Leone seem a little confused exactly where they've just landed.
Did you know you're in Spain?
You mean I'm in Spain now?
Yeah.
So we are in Spain. I thought this place is America.
America?
Yeah.
You thought this was America?
I thought this place, we are in America now. This place not America? So we are in Spain?
No. This is Spain.
Spain?
Yeah.
I don't know.
You're in Spain now.
I don't know. I'm just knowing for the first time. Yeah. Because I was talking to you just now, you were talking about Australia. You understand?
Yeah.
I don't really know where I'm...
Oh, did you think you might be in Australia?
That was what I thought. I was even telling my colleagues maybe this Australia.
No one would tell me how they got here, who they paid, or how much. It's not something anyone wants to talk about. Later, at the Red Cross Reception Centre, they're given new clothes and fed. Workers here tell me they fear most of the women will end up in prostitution. Another boatload is arriving, but these people are different. They too claim to be poor refugees fleeing the war in Sierra Leone. But it's suspected they're all from Nigeria and part of an organised racket. But there's no proof. Some begin unwrapping their mobile phones from the waterproof tape. Spanish SIM cards already installed. In a couple of days, all will be dumped on the streets with no money, no passport and no rights, and ordered to leave the country within 40 days. None can and none do. It's all part of the game. This is where many will end up, Almeria, 5 hours drive from Tarifa along the Mediterranean coast. Like a gigantic Christo sculpture, 30,000 hectares have been covered by plastic hothouses to grow out-of-season vegetables for northern Europe in the winter. And guess who does all the work during the growing season? Tens of thousands of illegals are recruited by farmers who know they're breaking the law, but no one cares. The entire industry is built on their backs. Hamed and his fellow Moroccans haven't had any work since May, and the growing season doesn't resume until September. With no papers, they're not entitled to any government help.
¿Cómo sobrevivís entonces? Ahora no tenéis trabajo y no tenéis dinero. ¿Cómo vivís? ¿Cómo pagáis la comida?
كيفاش كديروا الفلوس وكيفاش كتعملوا
A Morocco, el dinero.
manda Marruecos la manda y atrae dinero para
La
comer.
familia dan dinero.
¿De Marruecos os mandan dinero aquí?
Sí.
Pero creía que Pero yo pensaba que vosotros mandabais dinero a las familias.
Pero no hay trabajo. ¿Qué va a mandar?
Ya.
¿Qué va a mandar? No tiene dinero para comer, ¿va a mandar a Marruecos? Eso no lo sé.
This is not how they thought life would be here, and yet they are considered lucky. Their employer provides basic housing, but he now doesn't need them. He's already cut off the water and is building a gate to lock them out.
Bueno, esa cocina y para comer, y ya sabes, viene el trabajo y prepara comida para comer, ya está, pero no hay mucha ruina, no hay trabajo, no hay nada, ahora está parado, ya sabes.
But there is much worse. The third world is alive and well and happily being exploited in Spain. The competitive edge of the massive greenhouse industry built on the sweat of these illegal workers, up to 40,000 of them, with no rights, low wages and hostility from some locals.
¿Hay racismo aquí?
Mucho.
Sí, claro que se les arresta en muchas ocasiones. No solamente la Guardia Civil hace cumplir esa obligación o ese campo aquí en el campo de Gibraltar. La Guardia Civil, pues igual que está aquí, está en Cuenca, en un pueblo de Almería, en un pueblo de Soria, y si se tiene conocimiento y se puede demostrar, la Guardia Civil interviene de la misma manera.
But as we were to discover, the fear of arrest is about to become a non-issue for the majority of illegals. A 30-minute ferry ride across the Straits of Gibraltar is the tiny Spanish enclave of Ceuta, the last vestige of colonialism clinging to Africa. In this well-built refugee camp, the biggest hurdle is not lack of food or exploitation, but boredom. The bills here are paid not by Spain, but by the European Union, for this is a European problem that's set to get much, much worse.
De hecho, los expertos españoles en movimientos migratorios calculan que 20 millones de africanos de estos países desestructurados se han puesto en movimiento, están tratando de subir hacia Europa.
With statistics like that, little wonder the European Union is willing to pay out $300 million for a brand new radar and infrared system that will create an electronic wall along the southern Spanish coast by 2004. The government's changing too. In a shock move, we're amongst the first to be told of a dramatic change of policy.
Vamos a abrir un nuevo proceso de legalización para estos inmigrantes que acrediten estar en España antes del 23 de enero de este año.
The Spanish government says 70,000 illegals will be legitimised, given papers and the human and legal rights that go with them, if they can prove they've been here long enough. For those that can, it's a revolution. But it will also encourage more to come, hoping for similar treatment in the future. And that means more desperate runs across the Straits of Gibraltar. And a rising toll of those whose dreams end on Tarifa sands.